Hi, good morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, as usual. You know how it is, how we do it here. The eighth day in June. Wow, it's so exciting. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. All right, so welcome to Upskilling 5 million African freelancers in 5 years. That is the goal, and that's what we are pursuing earnestly. And of course, it is powered by Sourcing Business. I am Oge Mark. And so I'll be umpire for today. I'm always the umpire. So today we'll be talking about international education consulting, and we have a guest in the studio that will be talking to us, taking us through the journey. Now, if you're someone who is interested in having that experience or having that skill, acquiring the skill of knowing how to consult, be an agent, be someone who wants to be able to recommend schools to people, then Mr. Ehi is the person you want to be connected to. All right, of course, he'll be joining us shortly as he'll be taking us through the journey of everything that we'll be doing today. All right, so good morning, wherever it is you are joining us from. I bid you welcome. Share the link and connect with us. And of course, you know that Sourcing Business Mentorship Program, the new stream is up and running. And so if you're interested in acquiring any other skill whatsoever on your radar, there's something you've been admiring, you want to acquire, you do not have the resources to, pay some coaches to train you, then you should go on to sourcingbusiness.com and just any skill of your choice. It's absolutely free. You just go there, log on, register, and you begin taking your classes. And of course, in addition to that, you have access to mentors and tutors. After the tutoring, they're going to lead you by the hand. They'll mentor you and teach you and monitor you until your feet is firmly rooted in this particular skill that you are interested in acquiring. All right. So wherever you are, talking to us from, maybe you welcome once again. Welcome. Hi, Mr. Ahi. Good morning.
Yes, good
Good
morning,
morning,
OJ.
Mr.
How
A.
are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good morning. How are you today? Hope you can hear me.
I am fine. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? There seems to be, is this slow? Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. All right. So, I'll like our
I
audience
can
to
hear
meet
you
you.
loud and clear.
Great. So let us meet you. Who is Mr. Ahi? I'd like to call you Mr. Ahi. Who is Mr. Ahi? Tell us.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone that's watching. My name is Ehizua Imohimi, and I'm the CEO of Inted Pro. Inted Pro is an international education agency, an education consulting company based in Lagos, and I've been in the industry for more than 10 years. I started
Okay.
another consulting firm in education over 10 years ago that's grown in leaps and bounds and has placed many students in different countries. And and that company presently has offices in over 9 countries.
Okay.
So until recently, we started the Inted Pro. Inted Pro meaning international education professionals. Basically, we're trying to build a network of international education professionals. So that's what we are doing now, what you might call sub agents across Africa. Many a
Mm-hmm.
times, organizations that exist are working from outside Africa in this industry. Most of the ones from Africa are not that large. And I think that's one of the things this particular session will be addressing the fact that people require experience, exposure, the know-how to function in the industry. So that's the platform we are creating now, where anybody that has any kind of interest in internet education and grow within that platform. So we say it's an organization out of Africa for international education. So basically, that's what we do now. So we are presently in our second year of operation, and
Okay.
while we are building our online platform, or what you call a tech platform.
Okay.
Before the year runs out, the first set of CRM should be ready, and it will be easy for a lot of people to sign in, sign up, and begin to use the platform to send students. So basically, we
Okay,
send students
if I
abroad,
get you correctly,
into different countries
this is
abroad
the second
to study
educational
different
consulting
levels of
business you
education,
are.
professional development. That's what we do. Yeah, sure, sure. This is the second one. This is the second one.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
second one basically is gathering. It's like we are building a network of education agents across Africa.
Okay.
So the first one was basically just consulting. We work, and but this particular one, it's a network of agencies. So that's why we call the name Inted Pro, International Education
Okay.
Professionals. But we're targeting
Mm,
Africa, so it's an out of Africa network.
okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. So everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us. You
Hello,
guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.
hello,
Josephine. Yes. Can you hear me? Okay, so Josephine, good morning to you. Thank you for joining. Ademola, good morning to you as well. Sure. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Victory, Beauty. Thank you so much, ladies, for guys for joining us today. Okay, so Mr. Ehi, let's go on to talk about more. How did you discover that? Because you have the first education consulting business. This is the second one. Why did you decide to do this? Why? What was the motivation? What was the reason for that?
well, like I said earlier, I've been in the industry for over 10 years, and
Hmm.
the experience that I gathered over the years, I understood the challenges that face newcomers into the industry, especially from this part of the world. And one of those challenges is the um, the ability to get to work for schools, to be signed on by schools. For instance, let's say a school in the UK, for instance, let's say University of East England, of East London. You want to work with them to sign that contractual agreement to be their partner. It's not going to be easy for somebody that wants to start. It's not going to be easy. The advantage that I had when we were starting was that my partner was not Nigerian, and also was not in Nigeria. Even okay, he's Nigerian, he's half Nigerian, and also has a foreign citizenship, and is not also in Nigeria. So that it was easy for him to liaise with schools and begin to sign them on. But it won't be easy for you that you are new in the industry to be signed up because they already have agents that are working with them. They
Okay.
already have experienced people that are in the industry. So you are coming into the industry, you require some level of reference. So most of the time they're asking for references, and I realized that people will not get references. They don't have such references.
Okay.
So what do? We need to bridge that gap. How do I get people into the industry, even though they are new, they might not have the resources to meet all the required reference. So we get them in first of all. So what our network does now is we bring all these people. I don't care whatever background you have, whatever your interest is, as long as you want to get into the industry, we can help you bridge that gap. Now you can confidently tell your clientele you represent A or B, or you work for A or B, or you can place them in school A or school B, not because you have direct relationship, or because you have that sub-agency agreement with an organization like us. So that's why we started the organization, to bridge that gap for
Okay.
newcomers into the industry that might not have experience or the network to work in the industry.
Interesting. All right, so then now go ahead and tell us
So
exactly
I
what
see
is
there's a question
international
about international
education
education
consulting.
consulting. So basically, let me just give you a background on what international education consulting is. Okay, so international education consulting, as the name implies, is international education um, and placement. Education is one large industry. So people around the world to get the best of education, especially when there are not exactly quality education, like places like Nigeria and the challenges that we have. People are always seeking education from different parts of the world. So what does the education consultant do? The education consultant becomes that body in another country. So the consulting firm places students in institutions. They counsel students through their career process. So you are leaving high school, you just left university. They counsel you through the process, making you understand what is the next step. How do you go? Okay, what are the opportunities available for you in international education? So international education agencies have group of counselors that counsel students about opportunities that are available in international education. So basically, that was the education consulting is about.
Does
Availing
it require like
interested
a
students
qualification or a training or
to
something?
opportunities available in international education. So that's what they do. Okay. First of all, it does not require a degree in the sense. So the kind of
Okay.
but if you have degree in education, it's not bad, but it doesn't require a degree. But there are different organizations that have certification. So you have trainings that you can go through. So for instance, if you're signing up with Intel Pro, for instance, they'll give you some background training to understand how to work, how to be a counselor. But there are also international organizations that give trainings and certification. So we have what we call the peer network. We have what we call ISEF. So all people have their own training. So with an ISEF in the industry, and people within the industry will give you respect when they see you have the certificate. So that training is available. One, you can be trained for the knowledge. Two, you also need some level of certification to do well and to go further in the industry.
That's great. Okay, so
But you can also
aside
always start
counseling, what other
with just
career
normal
path
training
does the
by
educational
organizations that
consultant
are
have?
that are bringing you on as sub agents. Because in the context of today, of what we are discussing, I didn't get you. Please, can you come again?
Okay, aside counseling, what other career path is available
Hello?
to the? Can you hear me?
I didn't get you. Can you come again? Okay. 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 Yes, I can hear you. So it's not like your usual counselor. So the people that attend to students in international education are known as counselors. So that's where the name counselor comes from. It's not like okay, it's not like a career path as counselor like you will know a counselor to be. But those that deal with students, because they pass you through a process in choosing your school, choosing the course, the understanding and trying to explain the different destinations to you. So that's why they are called counselor. That's what they do. So basically you can also be into business development. If you're not
Okay.
a counselor, you can also be into business development because there are people that represent schools. They're not exactly counselors, they don't counsel schools, they counsel students, but they work for the schools. So you could be
Mm-hmm.
like a rep for the school. If, let's say, invest in London, you can be a rep in Nigeria. You're not exactly a counselor. You're just representing them. You are their staff, and you're representing them, bridging the gap. You're also working with the agents in Nigeria. So, so basically, you can also be into business development. You can help them develop their portfolio
Okay.
in recruitment. So you can be a recruitment expert.
Mm. Okay, so when it comes to your agency now, if a novice, someone who does not know anything and who's just interested in, being in this field, what are the first steps they need to take in order to launch their career in this particular industry? Mm. Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. I'm straining to hear you.
Oh, you're starting to hear me. Okay, so the question I asked was, what are the
I
first
didn't
steps
get your
someone who's
question.
a
I can hear you
novice?
well.
Yes. What are the first steps
Okay,
someone
I
who's
can
a
hear.
novice who does not know anything about this industry? What are the first steps they need to take in order to launch their career in this industry? What are the first things they need to do and the first things they need to know? The connection today is a little bit really bad.
Yeah, I
Very,
think
very
I'm
bad.
having network issue.
The connection is not so great. So we're just going to give him a few more minutes for him to perhaps adjust what's going on, and then we can kick off from where we stopped. All
The
right.
question I would
So
have loved to ask him is that I'm quite aware, I'm very much aware that international studies or study abroad projects requires a lot of information. Mr. A, can you hear me now? A, are you there? Okay,
mm,
he's trying to reconnect. So,
okay.
um, studying abroad has to do basically with information. So, for me, I would like to ask you, what are the, is there anything like internship opportunity for people who want to, because it just has to do basically with your experience. You know, if you are in the environment and able to learn through the process of how, you know, the business is done, that help anybody who wants to become a freelancer in the international education consulting environment. We are trying to bring him back. Let's see. I think his network is challenged.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Mr. English.
Yes, we can hear you actually, but we can't see you. Okay, seems you're
Guess
back
it's
now.
internet. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Is it good now?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I'm back.
Oh, great. All right. Okay, so
I can see
now I'm going to
myself.
go back to the question I
I
was
can see,
asking
like I see.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
the question I was
you were
asking before
asking.
you went up shortly
So you were
was
asking
that,
how to get into the industry.
yes, for someone who does not know anything about it, what are the first
Yes.
steps they need to take, the first things they need to know, before they get into the industry?
Okay. First things will be interest. You need to have interest. Interest
Okay.
in the industry. After interest, you need to find organizations like ours that can provide training for you because interest is one thing,
So
the
that means you are
expertise
talking
is
about
another thing. So
opportunity
you find
for
an organization like
internship,
ours
right?
to provide basic training for you, and they require resources to get into the industry. So after you've shown interest, you've gotten training. Yes. They can join up and learn from us and take it up from there. Uh,
That's still network. Okay. So he has just confirmed what I was
so
trying to hit on.
interest first, training second, then signing up with organizations that are already in the industry.
But there seems to be a challenge somewhere. You said interest first, training second, then, how do these agents get the clients?
So I don't know, is it
How
my
do they get
network?
the people? Where do they find them? Considering the fact that the internet space is flooded with all kinds of people who claim to be agents but are really scammers. So how they
Okay,
differentiate between the
okay.
person who
That's
is
where the issue of
trained, authentic, and the
them being
person who is just out to get their money?
Whoops.
Wow.
okay. So that's where they are freelancers in the context of today what we're discussing. So what they are working with is their network. So you can be, so there are different kind of sub agencies. You can have your own company as a sub agent. You can also be a person where they say, okay, like you said earlier, like an intern. I'm working for this organization. So you can market like that. But basically, the freelancer is working with his network, friends, family,
Okay.
friends of friends, friends of family. You work with your network. Like, this is what I do. So the greatest marketing is referral. If you have done well for one person, to refer you is not going to be an issue. That's the best thing because, yeah, like you said, there are many people out there throwing out adverts outside there. All kind of scam, lie. They don't even understand the industry have capacity. But when you have done it before, your marketing in that regards of social media, for instance, is reduced. So you are working with referrals. So the
Okay.
first thing, they need to work with the network they are in, the people they know first. So you work for
Okay.
one, two. When you get it done, those will begin to refer you. So that's the best way
Okay.
to go about it.
Okay, now I want to talk about the money, all right. But before I go talk about the money, let's talk about the students now. I recently came upon a post recently on Twitter where a certain person who was in the circle of certain elites in Nigeria. Now, this was happening
Okay?
in the United States. Now, the person was saying that um, the elites in Nigeria would send their wards, children, to specific cities in the
Okay?
United States. Now, major cities like New York City, like Boston, like popular cities, you wouldn't find them there. However, you would find them in really
Okay?
small cities and really calm towns where you can't really find them, where you can't really identify them. Now, for a student who's looking to study internationally, what are their best options in choosing a school, or
Country.
what are the best destination, the country of destination? What is the best for them? Is it better for them to stay in big cities, or is it better to stay in smaller cities? Is there a difference financially? Is that what is the exactly the difference?
Okay. Um, that's where the counselors come in. In choosing
Okay.
where to study, first of all, there are different destinations. There are popular destinations that Nigerians, for instance, or Africans are used to. So you have the top five because of their English speaking mainly: the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. So people go to these countries.
Okay.
As it is now, there's a large interest with Canada, Australia, and the UK. So the counselor, the agent, will have to break it down to the student. Because it's one thing to tell you what to go to, it's another thing to understand your peculiar situation. Like we say in our own organization, every student's case is peculiar. Every student's circumstance is peculiar. So they need to understand what is your budget? What are your interests? Where is the best place for the kind of course you want to do? So if I want to do, for instance, robotics, and I'm interested in the United States, which is the and at the same time, what is your budget? You want to go, you can't go to a place where the living expenses you cannot meet. So there
Okay.
are many things that they're going to work with you on: your budget, your interest of your course interest, your country, the destination you want to go to. So look at things that will determine. So after you have gone through this process, then they can now recommend to you based on that interaction. So that's why we call them counselors.
Okay.
Based on that interaction, then you can choose. So you can't just it won't be wise to just choose any city, either because it's popular or people are talking about it. No. And again, it won't be wise for counselors to impose or teleguide you into a particular destination. It's not wise. They need to understand you. What are your own peculiar circumstances? What are your career goals? What are your budget? What is your budget? All this has to come into consideration. So you are going to a place. You need quality of education. Like these are all the things you have to consider before you settle for a course. So that's how it works. You don't just choose any city or any country to go to. You have to understand all these different
You didn't
factors
talk about
to make a
budget.
choice.
So how financially rewarding is it to be a counselor?
And again, some people might have friends or relatives in some city to provide some kind of. Wow, that I guess that's the brand questions with freelancers. Okay, having been in this industry for over 10 years, I can tell you is very, very rewarding. So there are different layers of income. One, the first layer of income is what we call service charge, service fee. So let's give an example. You are a student, you come to me with your parent or whatever. So I'm taking you through a process. We'll give you a service charge for whatever service we're going to offer or render to you. So there's a service charge first. That's one layer of income. Second layer of income, it's the fact that when students go to school, you see, that's why the freelancer needs to work with those that have the right connection with the institution. Tuition they pay, the agent or the representative of those schools get what we call a commission from the school fees the student
Okay.
pays. So these commissions can range between 10% to 30% of the tuition. So depending on whatever contract you have with the school. So that's another layer of income. So you have from the service charge, you have commission from the school. And in this case, so we're looking at between 10 and 30% of tuition fees.
Hmm.
Go, tuition fee could be as low as $2,500 for some countries, and it can also be as high as $50,000 for some countries and some schools. So just do the maths within yourself. If you get one, two, three, so if a freelancer gets one or two students every month, it's quite profitable over time. So what you work with is volume. So
Okay.
you are doing two students every month. When the commission start trickling in, then you so that's how it is. Those are the so there are also services you can also still offer. You can incorporate because you're into international education. There can be the department for traveling or ticketing. So you can also sell air tickets. That's another area you can get income from. So you have helped the students get into school. They paid you a service charge. Now they've gotten a visa. They're trying to travel. You can also get to buy them tickets and still get commission from tickets. So that's another layer of income. In this time with forex, there's also the business in exchange, money exchange. People still make money from differential, for instance, because of how popular or how common that market is. You can still make some little income from exchange when students are paying fees or whatever. It varies. Different areas you make income from. So it's quite profitable over time. And for the freelancer, it's a good one.
Okay, so let's talk about the students now. When the students, you know, they is there like an
Okay.
aftercare? So like an aftercare, after you put a student in the school, we help with the
Okay.
ticketing and everything. The students, do they have an aftercare? Do you still have a responsibility to these students?
Okay. Yes. That's what good agencies do. You don't just leave them in those countries. So there is the beginning part, the interaction, the initial consultation, the counseling, the placement, the assistance with visa. They've gotten their visas. They've traveled. There's orientation, pre-departure orientation. After they've departed, you also provide services for settling. So how do they get an accommodation? How do they get jobs? How do they get SIM cards? Open a bank account? These are other services that are continued by agencies. Yeah, some agencies might have restrictions because they don't have either offices in those destinations or they don't have representatives in those destinations. But if they do,
Okay.
maybe they have students there. They can provide that service. So it's a continuous service. It's not a one-off. Like we always say, for us, students sign contracts for at least 1 year with us.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about the people who are interested in building their career, when they come to you now. So when they come to you, what does it entails to, be part of your organization? Is there availability of internship? Is there something about agency? Is there do people get paid stipends? How does it work with your agency? Okay, must have missed that.
Okay. Like I told you earlier on, it's a network of agents. So a freelancer will work as a sub agent.
Oh, it's a
because you
sub
don't have the
agent.
contract with the school, so you are sub because there are laws that guide the industry, especially from different countries. So these laws makes you, if I'm working with the school, I should be able to tell them how many sub agents I have, how I monitor them. So yes, they can work as sub agents. They are independent. They are independent. They can do their marketing, get their students, get all the resources, and just forward applications to us. So that's one level. So there are also people that's okay. I don't want to forward applications to you just like that. I want to just refer people. So that's okay. I refer to you. I get an income from that. I just make referrals, nothing more. They don't do any other thing. They just refer.
It's
Okay,
referred.
I have a brother, I have a sister, I have a friend that wants to study in the US. This is their contact. If those students are converted, then you are paid. Then you are paid. So that's
Okay.
another one. Then people
So
that
how
want to
financially
intern, okay, I
rewarding is
want
it
to
for
come
these
and
sub
learn.
agents?
I want to work with your organization as an intern. Fine. That
Okay.
also will be available. So there are the three levels. Yeah, I explained to you earlier the different places agents earn. So it's
Yes,
the
you
same
mentioned
thing as a sub
as a
agent.
major agent who is
So for
registered to
instance,
the
if
actual school.
you are a
But what
sub
about sub
agent
agents who
to
are under
Interpol,
you, who maybe make
when
referrals or are
Interpol,
interns or
if you
are
bring a
what
student,
are how financially rewarding is it for them?
yes, yes. So yes, it trickles down.
Okay.
It trickles down. It's the same thing. It trickles down. So you bring a student, you bring the student, you introduce the student to the organization, the main agent. They have a service charge. The same service charge they pay the agent. The agent gives you a percentage of it based on the agreement you have with them. So when it also goes to the commission from the schools, they also give you a percentage based on the agreement you have with them.
Okay.
For instance, people that do referrals for Interpol, depending on the country, they get every student, they get 50,000 from service charge. And they also get 10, between 10 and 30% of the commission paid to some client. So they say before they pay the agent, just pay them a percentage. That was
The network is bad.
It is bad indeed. It is bad indeed. But Mr. Ahi has really exhausted many questions on the lips of many people. I'm just going to see if we have a few questions in the comment section to see if he can respond to them when he returns after he's able to fix his network. Frank Allah, I don't know exactly where you're from, but if you would want to ask a question, it's better you write in English because I don't understand French. So it's better to ask in English. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined in
the
today.
parler français.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Okay, I guess I'm back. I don't know what's wrong with the network today. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I was going through the comment section to see if we have any more questions for you, but it doesn't seem like we have any questions.
If I may
Okay.
ask, Mr. Ehizua, if I may ask you, um, what will you say to the issue of scamming in your industry? Because I think I've heard a lot of stories around people who would promise you, okay, can help you get admission, so country, pay us
Okay.
XYZ amount of money.
Okay.
and at the end of the day, they disappear into the thin air. So, what would you? What's
Okay.
your reaction?
Okay. First of all, I believe the world has gone beyond where people will just buy any information they get. You have access to the internet. So some of these schools, so if you're an agent, for instance, the schools will list you as their representative on their website. So you can make
Okay.
your research.
Hmm.
So you can make your research. You can go, you can search a person's name. If you type my name, for instance, what will come up? So you can understand what I've been doing, what the person does. This is the name of the company. This is who they
So,
represent.
are you saying that as an agent of an institution, you would be? I mean, the school itself will know you, not like you
Sure,
just
sure.
help somebody by the roadside and all of that. You are
No, no,
registered with the
no, no, no.
institution.
Like a lot of people do what we like they call it hustling. So that's where I mentioned earlier about some agents, how they should operate and how they can operate. So some people see an opportunity in the industry and want to take advantage of it. But the truth is this: when you are dealing, this industry is a professional industry. Most of the times, people don't want to deal with the professionals. They want to cut corners. So when they cut corners, they get into trouble. That's it. You get into trouble when you cut corners. But when you go to the professionals, you will know that they are professionals. By the questions they will ask you, the information they want to give. As a professional, you don't make promises. I can't promise you visa, for instance. I am not the one that gives visas. It's the High Commission, the embassy. So when somebody begins to tell you, "Oh, don't worry, don't be, I'll give visa," then they are beginning to pass their boundary. Even with our training, it's illegal for you to even mention such. You cannot give people such guarantee and assurance. It's not your job. You're not in the position. What you provide is advice. What you provide is assistance. So when you begin to go beyond what you provide, then it's a question mark. So it's obvious. It's not a hidden thing. So you must understand that anything that is selling, a lot of scammers will come in and begin to scam people. One. Then two, the other level of scamming, when I heard that they scam somebody, I begin to wonder, you paid them, they didn't get your admission, or what exactly, how were you scammed? Because for instance, your school fees should not be given to anybody. But I've heard cases where people give agents their school fees to pay for them or pay the schools to the agent. No. If you get admission from a school, the school will quote in your offer letter their banking details or how to pay your school fees. So why pay to somebody else when you can pay directly yourself?
Okay.
So those are the kind of things. Like for us, we don't take anybody. We try our money. We don't help you. We don't take your school fees. Don't give the school fees to us. We show you how to pay. Pay to the school directly, so that you know you are paying to a genuine source. That's how it works. Yes, there's a lot of because a lot of people want to travel, and the truth is education. It's like the best part pathway to migration.
Okay, let
The
me ask
best
another
pathway
question. I think maybe let me just
migration.
keep in this one. For a Nigerian who wants to, let me use the word, who wants to jackpot, like doesn't have much money, but
Okay.
he wants to travel abroad to study abroad, what would be
Okay.
your first point of recommendation? He doesn't have much money.
Well,
I don't want to mention
well.
any amount. He doesn't have much money.
The reality is this: international education is not cheap. Education is not cheap anyway. Actually, it's not cheap. That's the truth. It's not cheap. International education is not cheap. So what you can do is to find the cheaper routes because, like I said, international education is the best pathway to migration. So it's a process. I've known people that started in one country while they are going to another country ultimately. Like I know a group of students, they started in Singapore some years ago because it was cheaper. Then they moved to Malaysia, it was cheaper, and then Australia, which was their ultimate destination. So we also see students going to a place like Cyprus, which is cheaper, before they now proceed to places like the US, Canada, or the UK.
What
So
what about
you can
cases
get,
of unaccredited schools and courses? Because that is also a valid problem.
yes. So that's why I mentioned um, the things the agent, the counselor will tell you about. The counselor himself or herself needs to understand the destination country, what is required. You need to understand what is the visa process, what is the living expenses cost, you as the agent. So you know the schools that are accredited based on what the student has told them what they want to study. So that's where you see, that's the job of the agency. That's why you need to use the professionals because they know based on their interaction with the school, they can ask, okay, this one is best in this, they are accredited in this. For instance, a country like Australia, they have what we call CRISCOS. It's like the register for Commonwealth for courses. So if you get on that site, you can type the name of the school, the course you want to do, and it will come out. So you can see what we call their crisscross code. So with that code, you know their accreditation, if they are enabled to offer those courses, and if you are safe. So that's where the international education consultant comes in. So it's our job to know all those things. So you see that it's a profession on its own. It's not just sitting down and say, okay, I need to help people get abroad. I know how to apply to school. Just apply to school and take boost money. No, it's a profession, a serious profession. It's a serious profession.
Wow, that was uh, that was interesting, very interesting, and that was very interesting. Okay, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think let me just expatiate on the one question you asked earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
but I think I didn't go down on it. I didn't go deep in it.
Okay.
Um, Destinations, because that's one thing. Where are the students going to? Where should the student go to? Like I mentioned earlier, especially for, let's say, not Nigerian students, for instance, but generality of students, they are doing UK, Australia, Canada, the US. So there are also countries like France, Germany. These are also destinations people go to. So depending on your budget, will depend where you start from. You might not be able to afford Australia or the UK or the US or Canada, but you might be able to afford a place like Cyprus or Poland, for instance. So it's an inroad. You can get quality education, international education, but it's cheap compared to the larger destinations. So destination is important. But over the years, like I said, Africans have gone to the usual ones: the US, Canada, the UK. Francophone countries go to France. So you still have Spain, you have Italy, but the usual ones, Nigerians, for instance, or Anglo go to the UK, US, and Canada.
So why
And
aren't these ones the first choice for most Africans? Why isn't it the first choice? Apart from the
I didn't
first
get
five you
your
mentioned,
question.
why
I
aren't
didn't.
these other countries you mentioned like Poland, Netherlands,
Poland.
like why aren't why what exactly is wrong that people do not pick them
Okay.
so often?
Well, the truth is there are rankings in education. There are rankings. Universities are ranked based on their quality over the years, the teaching quality, the alumni, the kind of so you cannot, for instance, compare Harvard University to, let's say, some university in Lesotho. You can't compare them. So
Okay.
because of these rankings, it gives them that high value. So you are also measuring the quality of education over the years. So you hear the fact that American education is high quality, Australian education is high quality. So people are paying for that quality of education, and access to the labor market. So there are schools you will go to, um, getting a job, the employability rate of their graduates is very high, very high. So you see that even some of these schools market that and say, okay, 95% of our graduates get jobs within 3 months. So these are the kind of things that people consider when they are choosing these places. So these top destinations, they provide quality and easy access to employability. So that's why people look at them. But there are also other options. Like I said, the quality is not bad. The quality is not bad. Let's take the US for instance. All the schools in the US, they have the same level of accreditation from the same body. So the quality, so if you are going to one university, as long as that university is accredited, you are getting the same quality. You understand? But you cannot compare them to what we call the Ivy League, even though it's the same quality you are getting. So it's not the same thing with the Harvard, the
Yeah.
MIT, the Yale, the Princeton. It's not the same. But the accreditation is the same. So I can go to another one with the same education I'm getting, same quality, but it's not the same reputation from the schools. So that's how it works. But like I said, depends on your budget, how you can start from anywhere. The reason why people choose those destinations is because of name. But there are also cheaper options that gives you quality that even the people from the Western world are exploring. For instance, up until now, place like Eastern Europe is one of the places to get medical education that is affordable. Russia, Ukraine, you can get quality medical education that is affordable. So you are getting medical education under 10,000 euro, $10,000. Medical education anywhere in the world is expensive, very expensive. So you see, even in the US, for instance, they go to Caribbean nations to go and get the education, come back to their country, get whatever certification they need, and start practicing. So cost is also important. But I can tell you, most of the time, international education, as long as they are accredited, it's quality education. So if you have the resources to deal with the big five, fine. If you don't, you can try the smaller ones. You still get enough quality for your money. For your money.
That's great. All right, Mr. Ehizua, thank you so much for stopping by and for,
Okay.
teaching us basically and opening our eyes to the world of international education consultancy. And to
Yes.
everyone who's joined in today, thank you so much for connecting with us all over the
We're
world.
waiting to hear from you. If you're
Yes, his phone
interested
number is
in
actually on the screen,
starting
so
a
you can give him
career,
a call if you want to be an intern or you want to, of course, jackpot. So,
so if you have family members and all the likes, you can just reach out to us.
okay. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Ehizua. Thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate your
welcome.
presence.
Thank you for
All
having
right. So
me.
that's about that for today, this week. We've had a great time, but we'll be back next Wednesday. You know the time, it's 10 a.m. with another guest, with another every other thing that we also need to talk about. All right. Don't forget to follow us on social media. And yes, if you're still dilly-dallying and still trying to consider whether or not you should, take on a skill, upskill yourself, take it from me for free. You need to. I will have the opportunity right for you. A Source in Business Mentorship Program. It's absolutely free. Whatever skill it is that you're interested in, just go on there, log on, and you will have access to the mentors and the tutors, and of course, the things that you need to scale up. I am Ogemark, and I'll see you next week. Bye.